Say it again. Say it.
Ow!
Oh,
Out of here!
get out of here!
That's happened.
Say it.
Out of here!
I said better.
Let's get out of here.
Still can't hear it.
Ah!
Get out of here!
Okay.
Get out!
Is that house?
I think so. Yeah.
Is it? Maybe it is.
Is it?
Maybe it is, Daddy.
Why we have so much food?
And why do we have this shit? Why do we have this shit too?
Yeah.
We have to have a hand one.
English what? Confused.
Me too. Oh. Hey, how about we use this one?
Go for help. SOS. SOS. Please. Please help me. Help. Aha, we sell some food. Stay with me. Food.
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 Ah, too loud. They're too loud.
Food.
Where's the gun anyway?
Now it is.
Yeah. We're missing one gun. What's going on here? What was here?
Is that again?
It's truly confusing.
Why do you have to anyway? Oh, did someone take that ship? Out of ship?
Hang on. Excuse me. So we got DIY. You read it with Daddy?
D.
Where the mouse? The mouse. Where? Is the mouse here? You see the mouse? Yep. D I Y multi antenna.
China.
FO.
F-O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well done. Good job. Right, this rubbish.
What is what?
This equipment. Go to. What do you do with rubbish? Chuck them in the bin. Why am I buying it?
We got that.
Yeah, let's buy some food container. Pencil though. Yes.
Yeah.
Nah. Go. Alright, I think we've been here.
I want to go to the lamb truck.
We're low on fuel. We are. Okay. Hang on, what's... Let's go.
What?
Okay, over here.
Yeah, let's go there.
I did not remember. Okay. Let's go here and here. We get out here. Stay with me.
Ow, fear.
Get out.
Ow.
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 Ah.
Yeah. We silly. Yeah, who? You or me? You? Ah, I think Daddy is silly. You? Yes, you silly and Daddy is silly. All right. One person. What's its name? Can you read it name? At the sits. Remember the TH? Say the TH when it's together. Say cha cha cha. So us I. Then you put cha on it. It become us sit.
Look at that big robot.
Beep 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 beep. I am robot with a rattling gun. Beep 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 beep.
Where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go? Where's he gonna go?
Oh, look at him! Jeez, he's fast. Yeah. He is very fast. Yeah. See how fast.
Yeah, like cat boy.
No, he too. Speed is but fast. Faster than the cat. Ready? And we're gonna do a test run.
The cat's fast too.
Now, ready? Okay. Oh, no, stop. So, him and the cat gonna run here, yeah? Ready? Go! Oh! See that? Robot win! Try it again. Alright, who win, you reckon?
Me.
Cat win? You count. Louder?
2,
Uh-huh.
3,
Go!
Go! The robot's really in again.
Haha, that's super robot.
I like that. What? And you like the robot. Oh,
Yeah. Where this guy? Sorry.
Why do we got this shit?
Petroleum.
Ooh.
Asteroid.
What are we gonna get this time?
What do we get this time? Bill, please.
Oh.
Oh, you lost one. It's a mine. What's it? You.
I've been sleeping too.
No.
I won't hop out.
They injury. See the red cross on them in the injury. How can it do that? the name. All right. Oh no. Good. Good. This almost a moon-sized macro planet has a human breathable atmosphere. That means you can land on the planet and you can take inhale. You can show that how you inhale. Okay, and fully developed ecosphere. Massive flock of birds was spotted flying near the surface. Most interestingly, the planet seemed to have several sides to emit active energy. Yeah. Energy. Oh, precursor filter oxygen generate for the video. What did we get attack to the bird, or should we which one? Show daddy.
That one.
Bottom one.
No, the top one.
Top one. Okay, the top one will kill the bird, but the bottom one we will leave the bird alone. You reckon? Okay. Come on, Captain. I mean, soldier. Soldier, attention.
I want the bottom one.
Bottom one.
Okay. It.
Right. Good choice. Yes. How do we get out? This section alive. 15 fail. Oh no. SOS. SOS. Uh-oh. Wait a. Let us try. Would like to buy some fuel from you. Thank you very much. Consider. Whoop. Okay, let's go. What is that?
A fire.
Yeah, how can I get in? Close the door. Oh, you can close the door. You can lock the door. Excuse me. That's awesome. You know that? I didn't know that. Right, live and learn, son. Live and learn. Say it.
Different one.
Yeah, live and learn. Chết đông what mistake. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, what a waste of fuel. Let's go. So we've been to here. I didn't know that. What are metals for? I am even more confused than ever. Let's see.
I White House it.
What we got?
Did you White House it?
Cow ship.
That's the that. Go back in there.
And
Go back into the thing.
destructive system.
Going back.
Have we been to this planet before? Sure, we've been to this before. Oh yes. Pair. That. Fantastic. Alright. You ready, buddy? What do we buy?
Does that robot need to go to fight? I got to land action.
Oh yeah, robot need to.
Wait.
How do we repair the robot? Where's the Oh. I don't know. Anyhow, unused energy. Have the extra energy. Energy. Energy.
Energy.
Energy.
Energy. Come look at outfit, Mommy.
Alright then.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
No, come see it now.
Yeah.
Be nice, honey.
No, wait it yet. No, wait it. But how do we get that? What's the cat? What is the cat doing? That's the robot. Robot, where are you?
But this one quite good too. 10 seconds.
Where's the robot?
Where's the robot?
There.
Is he?
I should not jump out.
A 4. This is 5. Not really big improvement, isn't it? Oh no, hang on, we got 2 actually. Where's it? Where's the containment? What? What's going on? You see the containment?
Oh,
Oh, don't block. What's here? We're talking to there. I can't see the containment. What's going? Oh, here we go. A silly daddy. Alright.
I just saw that straight away. When it's go there.
Good job. Good. Hey, daddy said daddy is silly.
Ow! Ow! Oh, look at that good dad. It's Goody,
I know. Awesome, isn't it?
the biggest.
It's the biggest, yes.
That one is. That one's the biggest. That one.
But one more energy.
Is that the biggest? That is the medium. It's the medium size. That's the pearls. Can we go?
Oh, very nice, beautiful. Go.
Hey, can we go somewhere? Oh,
Oh, what's it? Organic. Oh,
You'll be bloody being that.
good
We
observation.
already being that.
I can feel.
We need.
Yeah, how much? Oh, only 50. Oh, not too. So nothing here then. Oh. Get out of here, yeah? Gate.
The black hole.
Oh, what's that? Alright, let's get ready for the... You ready, soldier? Ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I'm ready to fly.
We're done. Right,
Why are we flying?
right in. Okay, let's set up our strategy, yeah? Or I troop.
We got those green robots.
Now hold.
Those guys, that one,
Hmm?
go back down.
This is like that.
Come on. We need a flag. Those guys need that one. Those guys. What? Those guys need to go to freedom. That guy needs to go. That guy needs. That guy.
What's
Needs
with
to
a
go
good
to
gun or
freedom.
not? I know. Oh no. Right.
Let's fly. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight. Let's fight.
Alright. You ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, we go. Oh, finish. Oh. I need to find anybody. But oh, strange. Okay. Sector number 4. Oh, finish then. Didn't see that coming. That time I didn't see that coming. Like that, and then this and that. What?
Oh my God.
Nah, big boy. Ah, thank you. It's tomorrow. Guys, not good for many things, isn't it? Hi. Simply repair and find the fire. Sand and nope. Okay, one done. Come on. They can do. Yeah, I can do fine. The color? Oh, gun out there. Pew pew pew. This you can see too. No, the people under ship. And ship like this and by black hole.
Yeah.
Go to black hole, and we don't want to get this nice. Right. Can control the
Done.
radar.
Very fun.
Yeah, after you do yours, you know.
Alphabet.
Yeah, that's right. Good job. Oh, simply hungry. Anomaly. Woohoo! Good night, big boy. You could sleep. Don't wake up, yeah. Right. A GIF. Buy this GIF. Like this GIF very much. Cat, cool cat. Look at this. And it. Alright. Ooh, rainbow war. Few. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna go to Nedu.
I will watch you go to.
Ready, go!
I think we're gonna run out of petrol.
Run out petrol again.
We go there.
Oh, let's see. Tornado desert planets. We detect fan energy frequencies on this planet, suggesting the presence of a partial technology. But the atmosphere is ravaged by sandstorm. You know sandstorm?
It's like sand.
Yeah, but a big storm, and it's sands in it. So dense, so much, so thick that our boats.
Are you talking?
Yeah, I'm reading for you. Unless I can read it for you. Copy. Let's go. Wait, what? Oh, what?
Oh, what?
What again? Oh, what?
Oh, what?
Ah. Oh, it's rainbow. It. Oh, this is a colony of an advanced civilization. The UE. See the U and a E? UE. Say with me.
You eat.
The UE.
I said you eat.
Yeah, well done. All the species try at semi-solid cyborg. Meet the locals. You participate in the welcoming celebration held for you and explore the colony together with the crew. Locals seem to be mostly either scientists or artists, but definitely hedonists. Hidden. You participate in several of their pleasures.
Does that look like a half from us?
Yeah, well, welcome aboard, new member. Who's it? Let's see. Free coffee. What a new member? Let's see. Oh, here we go. Kevin M. Amber. Oh, not again. Wow. He's good. He's like literally good.
Cat's sleeping. The cat thinks so die. Hi, what is the robot doing?
What go beep bop beep bop? I am robot beep bop beep bop.
What is he doing that?
Oh, okay. I'm robot beep bop beep bop. Is your name beep bop beep bop? What is your name? Be your name right now, beep bop beep bop.
We're gonna help.
Yep. We need to sell some food. Uh-oh. I don't like the style of this. Battle station! Oh, come on. 6 points. Serious.
Yeah, are you sleeping? Did I punch us? Ow.
Did.
Ow.
That's a big hole.
That was water there.
That is.
That's a water hole.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
At the hole like that. Oh.
Ball.
Again. Come on. The bigger hole.
I gotta go.
You got to go on. Let's try. Oh, come on. Why you keep coming for me? Go somewhere. Oh no. Real. Last one. Seriously, this time. Last. SOS. Oh. Oh yes. Finally, can sell some. Go. Oh, not petrol. Wait. Do extra. Are you? Mate? Thought you gonna sleep.
What is that?
Right in. There you go.
Make up.
How many holes are there? Count. 1, 2, 3. How about this?
Huh?
Oh yes, that's the one small one, but it's still a hole. So 4. Well done. All right. See ya. Yeah, people. What? Superior. You know what? Let's do it. Right, what is it? Right 3. Okay. No. What is it? And less petrol. Why I keep calling it petrol? Well, because people like petrol. I don't understand why it run on petrol. That- Petrol 5. Whoa. Uh. Too bad. Not good either. Alright. So just assumingly someone go to operate it. Okay, to go faster. What is the point? Ah. I guess. Right signal. No, not there. Yeah, let's go then. Oh, hello, missionary. Apple. Synthetic. That costs too much. Wow. Apple costs less. How about I buy this, right? And I'm gonna scrap it. Yes! That's a bargain. Maybe not. Scrap it yet. Oh, there are people. Need to buy some more explosives. Maybe. Oh, what you got here? Nah. Cyborg. B. Roy. Okay, good. 5. 5. Repair 2. What is this? Oh, 3. Alright. I think that's the skill I can use. Certainly. 1, 2, 3. Yep. I take you. Thank you very much. Oh, no money. But let's scrap that. Scrap that. There's some. I him. Welcome aboard, Mr. I have one useless team member. On the team, you really bad. Is he? Iser. What's food? Please. Whippy, is it? I need some more sleeping cyborg. It's so also too much food. This is really strong individual. I think. Um. Go. Okay. Can I buy back? Please. I Oh, here we go. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Can I have it? There you go. Yeah. Go. Rat Empire. No name. Thing. Oh. Why? We just want to talk. Who are you? Blue now. The robot did not say anything back, but the anti-mothership is shutter. Was an ending grill are taken hold of by an visible gravity. Box levitate stuff variable speed until it reaches orbit. Luckily, on a rail had switched on some of our utility but broke the lift off. Oh, here we go again. Oh, not too bad overall. I don't mind that. Metal object. Yeah, let's try to open the door. Any? Oh, what? Get out of here. Alright, let's get out of here then.
You.
Wireless technology. Oh yes, very good. I like this. Oh wow, awesome. Guy eat a lot. They can maybe. Um. It's awesome. Better than this one. Oh no! Scrap it. Scrap. Time to scrap stuff. That. Scrap that. Scrap that. Oh, look at that. Oh, that too. A huge upright. Let's sell some. Price. Good. Did I come back and buy these things? Where I spend my money anyway? Hey. How many fail do you hit? Are you serious? Alright, time to shoot some people. Prepare for battle. Position. Stay home, you good. Down. And gang active. Excuse me. Alright. You gonna be a home to repair. Okay, gang, let's go. Oh. Yeah. Ah, here for the invasion. Uh-oh. That's awesome. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, is it? Okay.
What is that? Huh?
Alright. So I'm back. Baby was awake. It's alright. Oh man, what's your name? Ryan. I wasn't account for that thing. Oh, I need to get them out. The robot's still here, are you serious? Uh-oh, he needs to go. Oh boy. Are you shooting or what? Heavy welder. Are you missing him? Right. Come on, gang. Don't disappoint me now. Alright, let's go home. Let's get out of here. Distract him. Them long enough, I guess. Good job. Come back here, Mr. Robot. Oh, what? Are you serious? Oh, what? Where is he gone? Oh no. Rip 3 of them. Oh no. That is horrible idea. Whose idea was that? Oh man. GG. Well, it's not even GG, but it's just game over. Oh man. Is it painful? Man, can't believe that. Try it. Yeah. Again. All right. Not too bad. Oh, too many fuel. Oh, really? Did I? Oh, I scrapped the wrong one. Bugger. Did I? I did. Scrap the wrong one. Ah, so many mistakes this game. You know what? Try my luck. Hand on the trigger. Lost 3 crew member. Can't believe it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Go, go. Alright. You're gonna shoot it here, and you're gonna shoot it here. Ah, painful, painful. Alright, here come. Wow. Oh no. I thought he has that much, Oh, one here. Come on, shoot him! You silly thing. Thank you. Lock the door. Oh, is he alive? Okay. You can stay in there. Okay, we got one. Are they hitting it? Oh, they are hitting. Good, good. No way. No, 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 no. You don't escape nowhere, buddy. Where's your... Oh dear me. Ow, fire. Alright, did I get his damn... You get the good job. Come on. Are you serious? That many broken things. Can't be serious. Alright, people. You need to get to infirmary. Everyone, really. That door is broken. Can I fix that door? No, that door done for good. Oh snap! And I mean snap. Ah, let's try it again. Oh, I got a low on ammunition too. Here we go. Oh dear me. Can I repair the door? Can't repair the door. Oh dear. Oh, laser shoot. That. So I'm gonna shoot that. That. Am I missing somebody? Oh, incoming, isn't it? Is it okay? Hit, good. Deflect, eh? Alright, let's go. Come on, come on. Head, please. Okay, good. Okay. What is this? Attacking drone. Wow, hand cannon. Okay. You go here. Don't worry about that for now. Gonna go back here. Job. Oh, you guys go here. Okay, now need to take out that. That. Where's reactor? Okay, there we go. Run! Oh dear me. Why is it still alive? $14. Blow out one reactor and still had the energy. Man. Man. Oh, I lost a gun too. Wow. That's not good. That's not good at all. Dang it. Come on, shoot them people. What do you mean offline? What are you people doing? Run out armor. Out. Are you serious? Is he only got... Oh no. No, 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 no. Man, this is so bad. Why don't I have energy again? What is going on? What suck up on the energy? Is it at that one? No. I think that one. 8. Wow. Right. I'm still need to do SOS cell refill. Oh, here we go. Yeah, more predator. Battle station. Dang it. Where the trader? I don't understand. Come on! You silly bugger. Oh, let's got some food. Okay, let heal some people. This guy go sleep for sure. This guy good, need to heal up. Last piece of food. I need to jump. That's it. Need to get up here. Oh, this is a bad idea. Alright. Yes, thank you. There you go. Get some feel. Give me some food. You know what? Don't need food. I do actually. Can you repair ship too? No, you can't. Okay. I'm going duck here. I am going duck here. So bad. Oh no. Sure. What is it? Gift. In double quotes. Oh. Fair enough. Oh man. 10. Wow. That's something. Oh, I need to repair. How do we repair? Oh man, this is so painful. Master trader, okay. Just give me. I don't want myrtles. Okay, there you go. Why don't I have enough electricity? What is going on here? What if I turn it off? Can I turn it off? I can't turn it off. Are you even serious? Alright, turn the gun off. Turn the gun off. There you go. Okay, you. Yeah. We're gonna make food. I need food, so. I think that's the best choice I can do. A porter. Nothing. Synthetic for all. Oh dear me. Alright, you can get that. Please go away. Thank you. Yeah, sure, no worries. One day, mate. One day. You take back what you give, guess. 2. You know what? I sell to you. Yeah. I'm gonna scrap some weapon and you can have it. There you go. Sell back. Sell 2, buy 2. Nah, there are no points. Can I repair my ship? No. Okay. Okay, no worries. Is it any gas? Jeez. Like giant gas star. It is too. I need so much food. Like literally a lot of food. Here we go. Thank you. Repair. Oh, come on. One fill. Okay. Yeah, not too bad. How are they gonna eat? Time for sleep, I think. Since there's no food, and no point to stay awake. What is it now? I really don't like to subject my grills to these things. Burn needlessly 77 feels. Yeah, I can do that. Get this idiot off my back. Sure. No, I want to go there. Collect. Oh. I don't have any. That's alright. Let's fly straight here. Abandoned building, nice. Oh no. You know what? Let's do it. Michelle. Yeah, let's do it. Nook. Where? Oh, I got a nook. Okay. Okay. Let's load it to here. Yeah. Sure. Where are you? It's a nook, actually. Release a huge cloud of impact. Alright. Okay. Alright. Can't repair that robot, can I? It's rather annoying. Is it a guy? Get out? What do you want? Yes. So that is. I think this one better. Oh, give extra, thank you. Right. Grippy. I think I go this one. Where is place? Okay. So I was up there. I need to go back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I had a feeling it could be had a guy there. Need some fuel. Right. More energy hunger things. Wow. That is big. This game is bad. Beyond bad. I can't even describe how bad it is. Well, there goes my money to upgrade ship weapon. That's very good actually. 600. Dang it. Oh no. Save some metal. You know what? Okay, here you go. 250. Let's. Oh, I had to do it anyway. Ah, this is painful. And I am run out of fuel too. Well, time to get out of here. Can go back, but not much I can do. High water consumption. Are you serious? That like mining rubbish. Ah, look at this weapon. No, I don't want to look at it. No. No, this game is horrible. Won't stop. So absolutely despicable. This thing shooting metal. Metal. Are you mental? Better than rubbish. Might just use another one like this. 646. Yeah, it's just that's a good idea. Not really. Ye metals. What? Are you selling? Oh. Sell for 2. Here we go. Oh, I should sell to them here. Bullocks. Come back here and buy this. Sell 1 for 1. Okay, I buy 1 for 1. Good deal. Come back here, buy 1 for 1. That's right. Okay. And then I go to metal place. Sell it for 2. Ah, bullocks! They don't want to buy anymore. That wise hole but it's fuel. Here you go. I'll give you back. Not that one. This one. Oh man. What can I buy then? Not much, eh? Now game over, ladies and gentlemen, game over. There's like nothing I can do. Alright, thank you for the bye.